Hey, Jimmy Valentine, that was a really great game-winning score you had there at the sporting event.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate that. You can look for that card really soon at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics. They got tons of sports memorabilia.
Jimmy Valentine, RKO Radio News. Jimmy, what makes Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics your favorite comic store in the Colorado area?
I'm telling you, forget about it. A comic collector like me, I can save 20% on a hold slot. Duh. Plus, it's hard for me. I'm on the road all the time. If I want the Amazing Spider-Man and I'm not around, it's in my hold slot.
Jimmy Valentine, what do you have to say about your recent allegations about steroid use?
I'm not going to answer that question, but I am going to tell you that if I want to get Magic the Gathering cards, I go to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics. The little square Jimmy Jr., he loves those. So go to 6700 Wadsworth Boulevard in Nevada, Colorado. They'll take really good care of you.
Hold on, Jimmy, one more question. Wait,
Jimmy.
no, don't go yet.
Does this sound familiar? You're interested in purchasing that new action figure, but aren't sure if it's worth it?
Well, come check out PlasticExplosion.com, where you can go to find all the latest and greatest action figure previews and reviews.
Every week they'll be bringing you reviews and picks from your favorite collections, such as
DC Universe, Masters of the Universe Classics, Marvel Universe,
Star Wars, Transformers,
and many more.
Come check us out at PlasticExplosion.com. That's PlasticExplosion.com.
For barbecue that can't be beat, try Birdman Barbecue Sauce. Available and original and spicy. These robust, full-flavor sauces have the awesome power to kick your taste buds in their face. And for that smoking taste on everything you eat, try new Birdman Smokin' Rub. Caution! Meat left unrubbed may suffer from flavor performance anxiety. You can pick up Birdman Barbecue at local area Ace Hardware stores, Ruff's Barbecue in Golden, and the Danny Cash Hot Shop off Broadway. You can also like us on Facebook at Birdman BBQ.
Welcome to the podcast. I am Ryan. To my left is
James.
In front of me is kind of
Brad.
We went and saw Twilight Part 2, Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Yes, yeah. The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is the title.
Me and James did. Brad decided he's too good to go see that movie with us.
Which is probably true.
That's just probably true.
I went and took pictures of trees with lights on them.
Cool.
Instead of watching that movie.
Remember last week when I said that this week you were going to be sick with the flu?
Yeah.
I must be a vampire with like super.
I know. You can see into the future.
Yeah,
Like Alice.
Man.
I remembered her name, dude.
Yeah, Alice.
That's pretty impressive.
Ashley
I am
Green.
sick, but I got some sleepy time tea to soothe my sinuses. And
so if
hopefully I don't sound too terrible.
Yeah, so if the podcast suddenly gets really bad, it's because Ryan fell asleep.
But it has vanilla in it, so the vanilla kind of perks you up.
Vanilla.
You can find all your favorite Sleepy Time teas at celestialseasonings.com.
Oh, man.
Anyways, we're the real nerds. We like to watch movies and have fun, and then we podcast our experience to the world, and we start every show with fan mail.
Fan mail! We need to just change the name of this podcast to Ship Full of Plague Rats.
What? The fuck does that mean, James?
Because we're all sick.
What?
Ship full of plague. Never.
Oh,
mind.
ship full of plague
ship
rats.
Full of,
I thought you said
no,
shit full of plague bats. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, well, I'm so sick that you can't understand what I'm saying. But yeah, shit full of plague bats.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, bats that bit Cujo on the nose turned him into a rabid dog
Wait.
with Dee Wallace in a car with that one kid from Who's the Boss.
I hate to admit this, but I've never seen Cujo. No fucking way. That's what that movie's about?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, the dog he's all happy at the beginning.
No.
He's like Lassie. He's, running through a field, and he sticks his nose in this little hole, and this bat comes in, it's like, me, 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 and bites his nose, and he becomes an animal. It's a good movie. You should check it out.
He doesn't remember writing that book, Stephen King.
Yeah, was he hit by a car?
No, he was an alcoholic and on some cocaine. So.
Because he was. And anyways.
Yeah.
His son writes a good comic book. Lock and Key? That was for you.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I wasn't listening.
I know, obviously. Fuck.
No, I'm sorry. Lock and Key is really good.
Anyways, our first email is from Cora. I love when we get emails from people who listen to our show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, tell your friends.
She says, hey, guys, Do you not have any faith in the quality of your show to retain an audience in spite of your asshole reviews of movies they may like?
Oh,
I do. In spite of y'all giving... Why did I do that all Southern? In spite of y'all. In spite of y'all giving... in spite of y'all giving a less than great review of Frankenweenie, which is amusing to me that it just keeps coming up in conversation. I still love and loyally listen to your show.
Thanks.
I've just been super busy. If I keep on messing up reading, it's because my eyes water every once in a while because I'm really sick, so I'm sorry, everybody out there.
It's also because you're half dyslexic.
Do you want us to read it?
No, it's all right.
I don't want to read it. I'm half dyslexic.
It was a nice fresh breath air to hear that you all like funny people. That'll forever be a favorite of mine. Sandler's
Good.
reflective monologue at the Thanksgiving table has stuck with me since I saw that in the theater. It just felt so real. He was talking about all those guys he grew up with. So great. I agree. Adam Sandler can be. He is a great actor when he wants to be.
Yeah.
Raid Over Me, Punch Drunk Love. There is examples of it.
Oh yeah, but you know what my favorite scene in that movie though is? There's that scene where they're at this show with James Taylor, and Seth Rogen says to James Taylor, "Hey, do you ever get tired of singing the same songs all the time?" And James Taylor sings sweet songs. My mom likes him. He looks at Seth Rogen and goes, "Do you ever get tired of talking about your dick all the time?" Oh, every time. It just kills me.
And she follows this up with, I'm going to watch Moonrise Kingdom finally.
Good.
Wait, that's a horrible reading of that. I'm going to watch Moonrise Kingdom finally this weekend. I absolutely love Wes Anderson films, Royal Tenenbaums, Darjeeling Limited, and Rushmore especially. And this was the wrong subject matter at the wrong time to see it in the theater. So super excited to finally catch what y'all have been talking about all year.
You'll probably really
Wrong
like it.
subject matter? Do you have a problem with kids falling in love?
Maybe.
Well, I don't know what she means.
Maybe, maybe. Sometimes it's okay for you to fall in love with a 4-week-old baby. As long as you imprint it.
Hey, hold on. We'll get there.
She also says, I'm addicted to Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, and Vampire Diaries. I'm not proud of the last one, but I also love Twilight. Ridicule commence. Regardless, have a fabulous week. Love the show, Cora. Hey, thanks.
Cora, we're not going to ridicule you. We're just going to ridicule Twilight.
Okay,
later.
you know
It's
what I am
totally
going to
different.
ask, Cora? I'm going to ask you a favor. I'm going to ask a really big favor. Yeah. I want you to send me an email defending the Twilight movies. I've asked this of a girl I knew last year, and her explanation was horrible. So
unsatisfactory.
Right. Yeah. I want an intelligent woman, which you are, Cora, to tell me why these movies and or books appeal to you, and then I will make fun of you some more because that's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I can really say about that.
Yeah.
So please, if Cora, when you listen to this, please send me a Twilight dissertation, and then I will not publish that, and I will not defend it, or however they do it in college.
It's not necessarily a challenge. It is entirely possible somebody may finally send us an email and say, like, this is why I like it and why it's good for me, and I might go,
and it might change your whole perspective.
Yeah. No, I will still think it's highly offensive and poorly made. That will always happen. But maybe I'll soften a little and go, oh, okay,
maybe you will.
Yeah. So I guess it is a challenge. Yeah, soften my heart, Cora.
My wife sent us a tweet saying that she came home watching my sick hubby. That's me. Watching American Horror Story in the middle of the second to last episode, and she was lost. Yeah, and I'll talk about that a little later.
She totally threw me off, though, because I had to go onto Google and type in AHS and just search around to try and figure out what the hell she was talking about. Because she didn't say American Horror Story. She said, came home and he was watching AHS. And I thought, the hell is that?
I don't even watch that show, and I knew what was going on.
Really?
Yeah.
I do watch that show.
Cool. And then we also got Dan from Ohio.
All right.
He has feedback for The End of the World. Greetings. In your discussion on the last podcast, 2 films came up and I'd like to comment on. First, I'd like to say that your view of The Raven was dead on, James.
Thank you.
It was one of the few films that I was anticipating this year.
Really?
And it proved to be a remarkable disappointment. While John Cusack tries to make the material work, no one's helping him. Despite the interesting premise, it couldn't have been less engaging.
Absolutely.
Again, I have no desire to see the movie,
nor
but now
should
that
you.
now that you've seen it and Dan's kind of said, "Hey, this movie sucks," I might see it.
It's just
Is it worse than Twilight?
No. It's just boring. it just never delivers you anything. Where Twilight is highly obnoxious. But yeah, we'll get to that.
And, actually, this next paragraph is going to be really interesting. However, I must take issue with your review of Seeking a Friend for the End of the World.
Okay.
Way to go, guys.
Perhaps
we finally
you
fucked it
hated
up.
it too.
Oh yeah, no.
I didn't hate it.
No. I don't think any of us hated it. We just don't understand it.
Perhaps it's my love of dark comedies or my affection for Keira Knightley, but this is one of my favorite comedies of the year. Not that surprising. A lot of people did like this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember the reviews from it. I just never laughed.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Its take on the social reaction to an apocalypse is fascinating, especially in its diversity. Some give in to fear, some lose their inhibitions, and others cling to their routines for security. Plus, I think both Steve Carell and Keira Knightley are in their element and have a good grasp of the tone that the film is going for. Additionally, I found it impressive that Seeking a Friend for the End of the World was daring enough to go to where it did at the end of the film. I know a lot of critics had a problem with it, but I found the ending quite poignant and right on the right note to end on. It's a real affirmation that the human spirit preserves in the darkest of times. I did mention that, I think, in my original review of it when we saw. I think that it's a bold choice to actually have the world end.
Yeah.
Because, but again, I just couldn't get into this movie, and I mean, I love Steve Carell, I really do. But again, when he does his Dan in real life and he does this one, it's just really hard for me to get into it.
Well, and I think I definitely think he's right about Steve Carell and Keira Knightley. Both, they know what movie they're in and they do a good job. I think the movie is cohesive and well made at all times. It's just that I don't know. And yeah, maybe it's that I don't like dark comedies, and maybe I haven't seen enough of them or something. But it never delivered anything for me that I could hold on to. So at the end, it wasn't poignant for me. It was just like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I mean, that's where this goes, but I don't know why. And I don't disagree with Dan's comments on the film. It just didn't work for me. Right, exactly.
But I can see how it might connect with somebody because, I mean, there is some longing. And I love the scenes with Steve Carell and his dad. I think those scenes are really good. And I love Martin Sheen.
Well, and like the stuff early on, like he's talking about with the people who sort of just go on with their life, like the cop, that scene is kind of funny, and or the people early on who are like, oh, well, the CFO killed himself, so whoever wants to be CFO, you just get to be that. Like that kind of stuff was funny. But it's that second half or so where they're on the road and it's supposed to become more of a romance. That's when I just sort of lose touch.
And this is an interesting way to end the email too.
And
lastly, I'd like to caution you not to be too harsh on Twilight. I know it's a lot of fun to joke about, and deservedly so. But given the pure garbage that Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was and the abomination of an underworld film earlier this year, among other vampire films, Breaking Dawn Part 2 isn't that bad. All things considered.
Ooh.
Regards, Dan. Hey, Dan, I have a message for you, too. Please write in to us this week and let me know your defense of this movie. And I'll probably tear it apart, but I'm just saying that I always want to hear other perspectives on this movie because it's one of the movies in the film series that I just can never understand. I just, for some reason, they're super popular, and I just can't understand it. So, please share your thoughts too, Dan, because much like Cora, we love hearing from you and how insightful you are.
And we also saw all three of those movies, and while yes, actually, I think I would.
If Underworld came out this year.
I might even say that Underworld is the best of the three.
It is.
Yeah.
It
mean,
is.
that movie's not good, but it is.
At least the CGI Scott Speedman's more convincing than. Okay, I'll save it for the review.
Yeah.
When we get to the review, I'll talk about it.
Oh, that baby.
Speaking of writing in, don't forget Film Explosion in 2012 is a few weeks away, and we are inviting our listeners to send us their top movie lists
Exactly.
to read on the air.
And this is how we're going to do it. Everybody who emails us, I'm going to rank your movies 1 through 5, and then the movie that has the highest ranking on everybody's, like the Academy Awards, we will pick that as the fans' choice of movie of the year, and we will read it on, and everybody who writes in will give you a little shout-out. So please send us your top 5, top 10, whatever you want to send us. Send us your favorite movies, and we will pick the movies that's the highest ranked on everybody's to be our fans' choice of movie of the year.
Very cool.
And that'll be fun. And Brad, have we decided on a theme for Film Explosion yet?
Like a theme song or a poster?
For the poster.
Or doing your little...
Are we doing the neon one?
You're doing your neon.
Cool, I want it like Blade Runner. Do it.
Drive style.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Cool. I don't know if we decide. What was the one you wanted to do?
I was going to do
It's
like
shit. So, I'm just kidding. What was it? I
Oh.
forget.
Oh.
maybe I'll hold back another episode this week. And
What was
Yeah.
it? I forget. I'm sorry. I'm
Huh?
being serious. What was the other one we were thinking about doing?
the futuristic
Oh, yeah.
year 3000.
We'll do that sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, Film Explosion is fast approaching, and we are going to record the episode December 28th. So hopefully we'll have it. Well, Brad's going to make the poster when he's going to have it up online, but we will be recording it December 28th.
Man, if I only had the time to do something like that.
that does mean that it's gonna come up pretty fast. So if you're waiting until you see Django Unchained, make sure you send that email in
Yep.
as soon as you see Django Unchained, because
Or Les Miserables, you know.
the year will not even technically be over before we record that episode. So
It's because it's all my fault, guys. I really want to see Texas Chainsaw 3D.
you son of a bitch.
And to be our first show of the new year, so.
That's gonna put a hex on all of next year.
Dude, what if it's awesome?
Star Trek's gonna be shit. Star Trek 3 is gonna be shit
You
because the
shut
first
your-
movie
you
we
shut
saw.
your bitch mouth.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. So thank you, everybody, for writing in, and thank you in advance when you send us your films for 2012, the
Absolutely.
ones you like the most. For me, it's going to be a tough year. It's already tough. It's going to be really tough.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it. So thank you, everybody, again. Remember, you can tweet us, real_nerds. You can like us on Facebook, leave us a message there. You can also email us directly at realnerds. Wait, I always mess that up. realnerds@gmail.com. You can leave us messages on our actual website, realnerdspodcast.com, and we'll read them on air as well.
For sure.
So please do that. Call us, 720-6nerds5, and we will play your message on the air. No matter what you want to say. If you want to call us pieces of shit, we'll play it on the air. The only thing you can't say is say bad things about our mothers. We will not play that on the air.
I really want somebody to call in and call us a piece of shit now.
That'd be awesome.
I get off.
I'll
on
do it.
No, it doesn't work if it's one of us. We should have, hey,
I'll
Mark
disguise my
Wahlberg.
voice.
Mark Wahlberg, call us in and call us a piece of shit. That'd be awesome. Can you even spell shit, Mark Wahlberg?
Oh, challenged.
Boom. Stuff we've been watching, boys. Stuff we have been watching this week at our homes or in a movie theater near you.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
I only watched a couple things. Well, I watched two things, but one was 12 episodes long. I watched this. I randomly on Amazon Prime. I've been doing this a lot lately. Whether it's an old movie, I might put classic. This week I put in horror, and I was going to see what just popped up on Amazon Prime, and a movie that was fascinating, and I watched it solely on the reviews based on Amazon.com. It's called Lake Mungo, and it was part of the After Horror Fest, After Dark Horror Fest, a couple years ago. And everybody said it was a really interesting take on found footage movies. And again, I don't really like found footage, but you know what? I'm like, you know what? I have nothing else to do. My wife's studying really hard, and I'm going to annoy the fuck out of her by watching a really loud movie.
It's not going to be a movie where like there's a lake that produces mongoloids, is it?
No.
Oh, good.
Lake Mungo is an actual lake in Australia, but it's all dried out. So it's an interesting.
So it's just a valley.
Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, the movie is actually, it's kind of scary at points. It's about this girl who drowns
In the lake.
not in Lake Mungo, at a different lake. Remember, Lake Mungo is dried out.
Right. That's
I'll get
why
to what Lake Mungo is
Oh,
in
okay.
a second.
Okay. Sorry.
So anyways, she drowns, and her family is obviously grieving, and it's shot like a documentary. So it has an interview with the families and the brother and the mom and the family members. And it starts with the son sitting down, and he says, you know, we went to the lake a couple... no, they didn't. Someone was filming at the lake a couple weeks later, and his sister was in the background of this. And then there are strange phenomenons happening around the house where it says maybe the sister's still alive, or because maybe she didn't drown. Maybe the father misidentified the body.
Oh, no.
Which they show the body, and it's kind of scary. It's horrific. Like someone who's been drowned. They didn't find the body for
They're
a
all
week.
bloated.
Yeah, exactly. But they, so, you know, like typical found footage, they set up cameras around the house, and you don't really see her, but every once in a while, they'll have the son, he says, nothing happened when we watched the video, but I went back and I analyzed it, and then they show the same footage, but in the background you see like a little figure standing there for no reason. And the movie keeps on going on. It starts revealing a little more. And about halfway through the movie, it turns out that the son was playing a hoax because the mom didn't believe that her daughter was dead, and she didn't want. So he was trying to make it that, there's lots of unsolved stuff here.
If we can see the ghost, then we know
yeah,
that she's dead.
Exactly. But then it starts going a little farther. And remember, they sit down and they're talking to like a news crew.
Yeah.
They say, he was the guy who was in the background in this one picture. What he did is he took pictures in the backyard, and then he took an old picture of his sister and superimposed it on there, like all faded, so it looked like maybe it was a ghost. But it turns out she was living this secret double life next door. The neighbors, she was having sex with the husband and the wife, which it was
at the
really
same time, or like they didn't know they were both having affairs with her.
No, at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And
Sexy.
they only found that out because they rewatched the footage that the son took, and one of the neighbors was in her room trying to get this videotape of her having sex with these people.
Oh.
And so they said, we didn't know our daughter, and we didn't know what was happening. So they found out her diary was with this videotape, and she wrote Lake Mungo on it. And something happened to her at Lake Mungo, and her mom said, I don't know what happened to her. She came home, she lost her cell phone, she lost her bracelet that we left her. She went out there, and we don't know what happened to her. She came back, she seemed shaken, but we're not sure what happened to her. So she went out, some time passes, and one of her friends was recording on her phone what happened out there.
Oh.
And what happened is she's the one who buried her phone. She's the one who buried all her artifacts and left. They found her phone. They looked at the video of her phone, and she was walking down the road, and I'll spoil the movie for you guys.
Yeah.
She was walking down the road, and she was attacked by her ghost. Like, she saw her bloated version of herself dead.
Oh.
So basically she had a premonition of her own death.
Yeah.
And so she was totally scared. She really died. And I'm like, that's an okay movie. I mean, there's some scary parts. I loved how it kind of played on it. But what made the movie actually kind of cool at the end is they replayed the found footage. So you saw the fake picture of her in the thing, but if you look to the right, she was like really there. If you saw the fake footage of the son walking in the camera dressed as her in the corner, she was really there. So it's kind of a cool little play. Again, it's found footage. You have to stretch the credibility, and I mean, because it kept on saying, but this happened. And it was kind of stupid. Yeah. But I liked it because they tried something new, and that, the son was a hoax, and then it found out all this stuff, but she was actually really there and trying to communicate with them. And
right.
It was interesting.
That's neat.
Whatever. It was only an hour and 20 minutes long. If you're looking for a found footage movie that's different and it's Australian, watch that one. You're like, I really need to see an Australian movie.
I need to see
that isn't Crocodile Dundee.
Bloated chick.
And a bloated chick. And there's some scary parts. I mean, the makeup effects were really good, and
cool.
It's done differently.
Very cool.
The second thing I watched this week was the whole first season of American Horror Story, which is streaming for free on Amazon.
So you made it through the whole first season, because I didn't even do that.
I did. Because I was so sick this week.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get up. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just watch. I literally watched 7 episodes in one day. Here's my thing with American Horror Story. There's some ideas that I think are really good. I don't think they capitalize on them enough. The premise of it is it takes place in this murder house, and this house, lots of tragic things have happened. And when someone dies in the property of the house, they come back as a ghost. Sometimes they're evil, sometimes they're not. The whole show starts off as Dylan McDermott's character is a doctor in Boston who has an affair with a student. Connie Britton is his wife, and she's trying to move out, and they decide to relocate to California to start a new life. And they get this house super cheap, and yeah. And then it's just haunting after a haunting. There's some parts in it that I think are really good. I think Jessica Lange's really good in it.
Oh, yeah.
She has a daughter with Down syndrome, and actually there's parts, I thought the scariest parts is when Jessica Lange has a boyfriend that's, 25 or something in it. And she's, trying to sex him up, and her daughter, Addie, sees that the girl next door, Violet's being attacked or harassed, and she says, the Down syndrome girl is saying, hey, you got to save him, you got to help her. And then Jessica Lange's character puts her in a room full of mirrors and says, look how fucking ugly you are, look how ugly you are. And the little girl's screaming, and I'm like, that to me is scary.
Oh, yeah.
that how bad her mom treats her, but her mom also loves her. It's a really bizarre little sub story, but it's really good.
The show is really good, and as somebody who is really enjoying season 2, I think that those writers are really good at writing bad people.
Yeah,
They're not always good at writing horror, but they're always good at writing people that are bad human beings.
yeah, but I mean, then there's some parts that just it falls on the weight of its own plot.
Yeah,
where
totally.
Dylan McDermott is still seeing his college student who he had an affair with because she's pregnant and she wants to get an abortion. So he goes to Boston, and then he has to run away because Connie Britton and her daughter are attacked in their home by these people who are reenacting a murder that happened there in the 1960s. Totally whatever.
Yeah.
So he comes back, he leaves her there. She shows up at his doorstep, and then the burn victim guy kills his girlfriend. And instead of him calling the cops, because even though no matter what, he just buries her alive in... Well, not buries her alive, but he buries her in his backyard.
Yeah.
And, then she comes back as a ghost, but her motivation is totally changed after that. She could... Because these ghosts in this show can also hurt people and kill them.
Right.
But she doesn't. She's pretty much whatever. I'll call his wife and and act like I'm alive. It's really bizarre.
And doesn't that, as I remember, one of the hardest parts for me was just that doesn't it have sort of some sort of pacing problems where
Very big pacing
it jumps
problems.
around in the story and doesn't.
See, originally, when I was watching, I said, "Is that on purpose?" Because they want to jar you with what's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some really effective moments in it. I won't say that it's an okay show. I do like. I don't know. The show is okay.
Yeah. The opening credits are amazing.
The opening credits are really good.
The very first scene of the series with those two boys that go in the house with the bouncing ball.
That's good.
Fucking good. I remember like that. I was hooked right then. But
yeah, but you're right. It slowly starts petering out.
Yeah.
And Dylan McDermott's character is a piece of shit in the whole movie. Actually, I thought the most clever thing in the whole show was the maid. Dylan McDermott saw her as this sexy, young, beautiful woman. Everybody else saw her for what she really was an old lady.
Yeah.
Who cleans the house. But then again, it doesn't make any sense because she was killed as a young lady by Constance, who's Jessica Lange's character. But then I don't know. And then the way it ended, you find out that their daughter Violet is actually dead. She died of a drug overdose.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I don't know if you got to the episode where she took all the drugs and the boy made her throw him up. Well, she actually died in there, and he hit her body.
Oh.
So no one would know, which is an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
Did you see why that boy was so evil?
I think I think so. Maybe I don't remember.
Anyways, he's like a Columbine kid. He goes on a shooting spree in his school.
Yeah.
And on Halloween, the ghosts of the kids that he killed come back to haunt him. But when they shot the scene of him killing the kids, this sounds really morbid, and why I would pay attention to this, but how he killed them and then how they showed up earlier at the Halloween thing where they're haunting him, their wounds were different.
Oh.
And the whole thing they're showing you shooting him with shotguns, and this one kid had a bullet hole in his head that was like this big.
Yeah.
Like, that looks like a 9mm to me.
Yeah.
So the consistency is really weird.
That first season feels a lot to me like they had a cool idea for a show and they did a pilot and then got picked up and then they never could quite work out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Whereas the second season doesn't feel that way to me. The second season they've got all these stories they're running, and they all feel like they're planned out pretty well.
Yeah.
So
and it ends with Laura actually came in on the second to last episode where Connie Britton goes into labor and she has twins. One's an evil guy and one's because it's by two parents. The rubber suit guy is the kid, Tate, the boy who's dead, by the way.
Okay.
So he haunts the house. So he rapes her.
Right.
But she also is carrying her husband's baby. So she gives birth to her husband's baby, and it's stillborn. She gives birth to Damien, and of course it lives, but she dies because she can't make it to a hospital.
Yeah.
So Dylan McDermott's character is racked with guilt. And I actually think the last episode's really good because all the ghosts, the evil doctor in the basement, the nurses that were killed in the 1960s have to help deliver this baby. And this baby is allegedly the second coming of the devil. It was foretold that if a a ghost has sex with a woman and the woman gets pregnant, then that's the coming of the devil.
Okay.
So, anyways, of course, the one baby lives, the bad baby. Dylan McDermott, instead of taking the child, burying his wife and daughter because they're both dead, he goes back into the house. And when he's in the house, everybody wants that evil baby. So he's hung and he's killed. And then the baby is stolen by Jessica Lange's character, which I thought was actually great. I'm like, oh, that's a good way to end the series. But then it went to another episode where the whole season, Constance, Connie Britton's character, is mad at Dylan McDermott because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. As I remember, he has an affair with his student because like they had another miscarriage or something like that.
Exactly.
Didn't they?
So
Yeah.
he's a piece of shit. But now that he's dead, it's like a happy-go-lucky final episode where this new family tries to move in. And so instead of them being subjected to the horrors of the house, they all put on this elaborate skit. So they haunt him. Sorry. And they're doing all these freaky ghost things, and all the people they're, oh, let's get out of here, and they run away. It's totally unnecessary. And then the last shot of the family is them decorating a Christmas tree. This is stupid.
So at the end, the house is okay.
Yeah, because they won't let anybody else live in there. But the final shot is 3 years later when Jessica Lange's character is at a hairdresser and she's getting her hair done because it's the first time she's been out because she doesn't want people to know that she kidnapped this kid. She comes home, her maid's dead, and the little kid's just like smiling in the corner. Right? This is not scary. It's stupid. So, yeah, that's American Horror Story. It's okay.
Huh. Well, I'm glad they didn't do a sequel season.
Yeah, Connie Britton's really good in it. I think she's my favorite character in it.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember loving
her
lot of the actors in the show,
her and Jessica Lange are really good. Dylan McDermott's pretty good at being a piece of shit.
I even remember thinking that Kate Mara was good. It's just that her character is bizarre. Yeah, no, exactly.
So that was my long explanation. Say, if you're bored, you can watch American Horror Story.
Cool.
Yep, Murder House. And that's all I watched this week.
All right. Last week, Catch Me If You Can came out on Blu-ray, and I had a chance to check it out. I'll just really quickly say, that movie is still fucking amazing. But the Blu-ray is not great. In fact, they do a really weird thing where they took the second DVD from the DVD release and just threw that onto the Blu-ray, still in SD. So when you watch it, it's letterboxed. You know, there's the black box around everything, which is really kind of a shame. You know, in a year where we got Jurassic Park on Blu-ray and Indiana Jones and Jaws, and they all had these amazing releases. For this movie to just sort of get like, well,
Andy
we're
T.
just gonna poop it out. Oh yeah, Andy T. For them to just sort of be like, well, this is some lesser cared about Steven Spielberg movie, one of my favorite Steven Spielberg movies.
Me too.
For it to get such kind of a crummy Blu-ray release is unfortunate, but
you know what? One of my favorite scenes in that movie is at the end where he's caught.
Oh yeah.
And he's in that that printing factory, and they have that monologue between the two, and I just love that moment in the movie.
Oh, it's great. It's funny. I when I watched through the special features again, I didn't remember that in the actual story, Frank Abagnale runs out of the courtroom because it was a courtroom. Runs out of the courtroom away from his parents because he doesn't want to choose who to live with, and that is the last time he sees his dad.
Yeah.
In the movie, there is a scene where they have some resolution, but in the real story, by the time he gets caught and everything, 7 years later, his dad's dead.
Yeah, that's a great interview.
Horrible.
I remember on the DVD is a great interview with him.
Oh yeah,
where he talks about the reason all the fraud protection stuff is because of him, because he found a way to do it.
Yeah, I think one of the best moments in that is there's a scene where he says, more amazing than any of the stuff in my story is the fact that then I was able to turn around and more than the $2+ million that I stole, I've made a company that's made 10 times that. I am worth so much more now as a good person than I ever was as a criminal, because I turned those skills into something good. Anyway, if you don't own Catch Me If You Can, go ahead and buy the Blu-ray. But if you have the DVD already, wait till it gets cheap before you upgrade. There's also have either of you seen Neil's Puppet Dreams?
No, I've never heard of that.
This is this thing they're doing on Netflix, or not on Netflix, on the Nerdist. It's Neil Patrick Harris, and he's teamed up with Jensen Alternative, which is the or Hansen what's his name? The guy who did the Muppets. Fuck.
Jim Henson.
Jim Henson. I was just saying
Wow.
Jensen. I know. It's Jim Henson's family and his company, but them doing slightly more adult stuff. Ooh. And they're just these little short videos where the premise is that Neil Patrick Harris dreams in puppets. And so he falls asleep at the beginning of the episode, and then there is this dream sequence that he goes through, and there's puppets and everything. And
I should watch that.
No, it is really good. Yeah, go check it out. Nathan Fillion is in the second episode as his sleep doctor, which is really good. So yeah, it's really funny. I rewatched Sucker Punch this week. I saw through both versions, which will now make this the most overly discussed mediocre-ish movie on the podcast. And I was actually surprised at how much fun I had watching it. Because I think my enjoyment of the movie had waned since I saw it in theaters. It's just the last time I saw it. But it was, I think that movie has some really badass stuff in it. And even the pacing problems didn't bother me as much. Maybe because I knew that was going to be a thing, that, at some point they were just going to kill a bunch of people and then run right into the ending. But I did watch through what was different about the ending, and I think, I don't know what I think about which one is better.
I was just going to ask you, is Dan thinks the theatrical cut, I haven't seen the theatrical cut yet. Yeah,
there's a little bit of footage where the Sweet Pea who gets away, we see her getting some clothes that she disguises herself in, and that's worthless. But there is this long sequence where John Hamm is sitting on this bed, and actually, spoilers, but he convinces Baby Doll to sleep with him. And then basically when she has sex with him, that's when he pops her in the eyeball in the real world. And it's just a weird speech. I think the speech is good, but I think it does kind of kill the tone of the movie. So I think probably the theatrical version is still better, but it's just interesting, and I'm glad it's on the Blu-ray. And then very last thing, the actual thing that I watched this week was this movie called The Way, which is it's a Martin Sheen movie. Yeah, last year there was a week where our options were we could go see The Way, or we could go see The Help, or we could go see Creature. And you guys made us go see Creature. And I can now tell
that was
you...
the same week?
Yes. I specifically remember that argument.
I remember The Help being out.
I remember... I can now tell you that both of those movies are way, way better than Creature.
I could have told you that when we went to see it.
I didn't have to see the Creature to tell you that is shit.
The Way is this really neat little movie that Emilio Estevez wrote and directed.
Emilio!
Yeah. And it turns out he's pretty damn good at it. Where... this father, who is a doctor in America and living a nice life, he's golfing and stuff. He gets word that his son has died, and his son was across the world in France he had just started this walk that is a sort of traditional thing that people do where they walk from just inside of France into Spain to this church at the edge of the ocean, which is apparently where they say that St. James was buried or something like that. But it's this thing that a lot of people do every year. And like along the way, there are places where you can stop and at the beginning, you get this passport sort of thing and they'll stamp it. So at the end, you have this passport just full of all of these places that you went and all these people that you met. And it's really just a cool idea. And, then so Martin Sheen goes and sort of gets convinced that he's just going to take some time off of work and take a month and walk this path. And he meets these interesting characters along the way, and what is so good about it is how well he very slowly reveals their motivations and why they're on this journey. They all end up being a lot more complex than they appear, and even Martin Sheen's character. At first, you just think, well, he's just grieving over his son, and there is a lot more to it than that. And there are certain times come where you see him making mistakes and doing things where you go, okay, there's more to it than this, and he's really struggling with something. Martin Sheen is, of course, amazing, and I think it is just a moving film because of I'm a sucker for any time that people want to do stuff like this where people have been walking this thing for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and it's just a little bit moving to see all of these people doing that same tradition and how many millions of people have done the same thing. It's a really cool movie, and you can see it on Netflix. It's on instant streaming, so just check it out. It's a nice little movie for sure. In the afternoon, watch it, or in the evening. Brad, what'd you see this week?
Since we're almost 45 minutes in, I'm just going to say I saw Pulp Fiction again, and I probably liked it more this time than I've ever liked it.
Oh, really?
Please elaborate.
Did you see?
I'm good.
Did you see it in the theater?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Special screening. I had some interview stuff before the screening. So.
Oh, cool. Was
Is
it
that
the
one
first
of the
time?
Fathom event things?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Was it the first time you'd seen it with an audience?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, when I saw it at the Esquire, I said the same thing. I had never laughed so hard or had so much fun than when I was with an audience, because it's a whole room of people all reacting the same way.
Yeah. And I don't know why. Obviously, because it's huge, I paid more attention to all the dialogue and all the writing and all the minute details of the movie itself. And by the end of it, I was like, I wish there was more of this.
Yeah.
Like, I want this to keep going. And one weird reaction I had to it was when the one guy gets shot in the face in the car.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of like, the whole audience just erupted with laughter, and like the guy to my right laughed as though he'd never seen it before. I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh yeah.
And part of me was like, it's kind of sick that we're all laughing at this guy getting his head blown off. Like, it's just like, it's nothing. It's not. This isn't a comedy.
Well,
but it's a comedic timed moment.
Right. And for everybody, when they first see that movie, it takes you by surprise. You don't have time to laugh because you're just so startled.
Yeah.
But when it's that thing where, when I saw it with an audience, I found that no one ever laughed at jokes. They actually laughed right before jokes. So like the scene where,
oh god, there were like people behind me just quoting left and right.
Oh yeah, well that's worse. But like when the watch scene starts, the flashback about the watch, just when that started, people laughed, and I was like, dude, the funny stuff hasn't started yet. But it's just that trigger where people remember, So when that guy gets shot, they remember not just how funny that sort of timing is, but then of course everything is going to come because of it. They can't help but just in their head go like, you just shot that motherfucker in the face. Like you just have to react that way. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but this time around it just felt like, isn't this kind of sick?
Oh yeah,
like
no,
given
totally
other things that happen in the world that are like real, like we're laughing at somebody getting shot in the face.
Yeah.
As 100 people.
Which version did they show? Did they show the Elvis versus Beatles version?
There's two versions?
Oh, there's there are scenes that get cut out of that movie where sometimes, like if you watch it on TV, you'll see the longer version where she brings the camera down and she's going to interview John Travolta. There are different cuts
Who's
of that
interviewing
movie.
who?
Mia is interviewing John Travolta's character, whose name I can't remember. Not Jules, the other one. And she's talking. She's asking him
the internal security camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's she's asking him questions like about like, well, whether or not you're an Elvis man or a Beatles man and all of that. Sometimes that gets cut out. When I saw it at the Esquire, they announced at the beginning, oh, this is going to be an original version. There's nothing cut out of this one. And then that scene was not there, and the whole audience just like booed for a second. And then we moved on. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a deleted scene that sometimes they put back in for the TV or what.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like I did hear talk of Beatles.
Yeah,
versus Elvis in there.
Later, when she brings him to Jackrabbit Slim, she says like, "Oh, an Elvis man will love it." So there's a joke about it. Yeah, but then you don't have the setup for that scene.
Yeah, it's what I think because the discs that like they were showing all these like trivia cards before the movie.
Oh yeah,
from the Tarantino 20 box set. So I'm guessing whatever cut is on that box set is what I watched.
And I've never done enough research on it, but I think it is that. It's a deleted scene they put back in for the TV version just so they can have more time because they cut so much stuff out that for content reasons that I think that's what it is. But anyway,
yeah, informative.
So everybody has to go.
Now?
Everybody.
Oh no, are you? Is that all you watched?
Yeah.
Everybody's got to go watch their Pulp Fiction DVDs now to see what.
I know. I should go get that. I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah.
Well, there's only the one Blu-ray cut.
Oh yeah,
so,
no.
And then there's the Tarantino 20. I don't know if they're different or not.
I'm sure they're not.
Yeah.
Anyways, James, box office numbers.
This is the box office stats.
Big surprise this week. Last week, I guess. Twilight repeated as number one,
but only by $1 million.
Yeah, was it 22?
No, 17.
17. Yeah, I'm a little off. We saw Killing Them Softly, which debuted way down at number 7.
Yeah.
And it was only $6 million.
Yeah.
because the subject matter is dark and the movie is
Yeah.
I don't understand why people thought that was going to be like a blockbuster.
I know, there's
I didn't
no
get that
way it
impression
could
at
be.
all.
I think they were thinking Drive. Everybody was thinking like, oh, this is
Really?
going to be this.
Well,
huge
that-
Drive
movie.
wasn't a blockbuster either.
That
No,
it's because
but-
it's Brad Pitt. I think is the biggest reason.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Because just of who he is.
But it's also only a $15 million movie, so
Yeah.
at almost $7 million the first weekend, it'll be okay. Not that
Likeable
I,
star syndrome needs to get over with because
yeah.
it's ruining expectations. Like Tom Hanks opens Cloud Atlas, bomb.
Yeah. Well, everyone knew that one was going to be a bomb
It's
because
not about star power anymore.
it's about writing and making a cool movie.
Well, and it depends on the star. You put a modern young star like Kristen Stewart into a movie, oh man, shoots right up.
No, because she only does Twilight now.
Oh.
Adventureland was a bomb.
Fuck.
Panic Room, I guess, when she was really ugly as a kid.
Oh, they should have CG'd her face on the baby.
Dun, 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 dun. DVDs and Blu-rays.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Kind of a big week next week.
Yeah. Well,
Which
it's getting
is-
before Christmas. Everyone
it
wants
is,
to get
so-
their stuff out.
Ted comes out on
Mhm.
Blu-ray and DVD, the #1 comedy of the year.
Ooh.
I'm sure it says, doesn't say that on the box.
Really?
What's the #1 R-rated comedy of all time?
It is.
Uh-huh.
The Bourne Legacy, which has a horrible ending. Ice
It doesn't
Age,
have
which James has been waiting for.
Is this Ice Age 4?
Yeah.
It doesn't have a number on it anymore. They're just doing subtitles.
You know what's crazy is that made
another.
so much money overseas that they'll make another one.
Yeah.
Also, James, Girls, Season 1
Yeah.
on DVD and Blu-ray. I haven't seen it yet, but you were talking about that earlier with all the girls.
Yeah.
I can't read that Criterion one from here.
It's a Criterion edition of Following, which is the first Christopher Nolan
Christopher
movie.
Nolan, yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is waiting for me as soon
Oh,
as
is it
comes
really?
out. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Also, Dick Tracy on Blu-ray, which is fun. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember it as a kid is fun to watch. Didn't understand the twist at the end, you know, with Madonna because I was young. I haven't seen it probably in 20 years. How old is that movie?
Oh, I don't
1990.
25.
Is it
something.
really only 1990? Man,
And
it feels
then-
older than that.
And
there's
then Brad's #1 movie of the year, Miami Connection on Blu-ray comes out.
Finally,
there's also a Blu-ray release.
I can
of,
watch it awake now.
There's also a Blu-ray release of anybody who grew up in the 90s might remember a Ben Stiller movie called Heavyweights by Disney.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Heavyweights is getting a Blu-ray
Because-
release.
And now Ben Stiller's on the cover art.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Well, because Ben Stiller plays... Dude, it's an awesome movie. Ben
It is.
Stiller plays a total dick counselor. He's kind of like his character in Dodgeball,
Yeah.
where he has the same haircut and he used to be fat. So he teases all these kids and he's a total dick. It's a really funny movie. You should check it
No,
out.
it is. And
My brother Steve loves that movie.
are you saying that he wasn't on the box art originally because he just wasn't famous yet, or?
Yeah.
Man.
As far as I remember when it came out, it was just the kids holding the sandwich or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it was. Because he's not even really in it that much. I think he's in it for a little bit. You know, he's kind of obviously the bad guy. And
Yeah, but I mean,
And the studio's like,
he's a
here's an old
supporting
movie,
character.
and Ben Stiller's still recognizable, so let's throw that on there.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, yeah, you should check it out. I mean, if the Blu-ray's cheap, I would buy it. Because it's awesome. I'm pretty sure it's a Disney movie, too, if I remember correctly.
There's also a DVD release of Codependent Lesbian Space Alien Seek Same,
Nice.
which is a
Also
movie
pre-ordered.
apparently. Also waiting on Brad's front porch right now. Oh, man.
Awesome. So thank you, Digital Bits, for supplying us with DVD release information.
If I click on the links on their site, does that give me money?
No, it gives Digital Bits money, but it's
Oh,
an independent
wow.
website, so you're supporting them.
Very cool.
Following's a really good movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. Definitely check it out.
I hadn't. It's on my Netflix queue because I'm a bad person.
I'm
If
just
it was
gonna,
on Netflix, I'd let you borrow my DVD, which I won't need anymore.
I'm gonna borrow that, and you're gonna bring me Deadwood on DVD.
I know.
Ooh.
I was driving here. I was like, fuck, again.
Have you
like-
never seen Deadwood?
No, I have. He just bought the Blu-rays, so
Oh.
he doesn't have a need for the DVDs.
I honestly don't think I saw the last couple episodes just because I was so tired of them saying cocksucker that I stopped watching. I really.
They should
well,
say it more.
Yeah. don't be a
You're taking umbrage to
a badge muncher.
the best parts of
you
the show.
cocksucker.
Yeah.
oh.
No, I was reading my Entertainment Weekly, and the huge Blu-ray review they have in there is for the Dick Van Dyke Show. It's like, fuck. Why
Which
is
was
that-
sold out on Amazon for like a day or two.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
man.
That's awesome.
I keep checking back, just like stay 150, stay 150. Go lower, go lower.
Dude, if it drops below like
$100,
I love you, Laura. I'm buying it. Anyways, unspool some real news for me, James.
It's real news.
Well, I'm going to start with the first thing that you would have started with anyway.
Go ahead.
Which is that they cast Harry Osborn for The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
They did. That kid from Chronicle, the movie I never saw.
Oh, that's right. You never did see
I was out of town that week.
Right.
Opening a fucking Qdoba in West Virginia.
Well, as half good as that movie is, he is pretty good in it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I heard he's really good in it.
Yeah, we don't really necessarily get to see him.
I read the article on
Slash
Slash Film, and they're talking about how he's going to become the Green Goblin. I said, I think his dad becomes a Green Goblin, and he becomes a Green Goblin afterwards. But anyways.
Well, Slash Film doesn't know much. It was a Russ Fisher article. Who knows?
Yeah.
The weirdest thing about this casting news is that his name is Dane DeHaan. If you have a last name DeHaan, don't name your son Dane. No.
Dude, there's a lady who
Sounds like
comes
a porn
into
star.
my restaurant all the time, and at my restaurant, when you pay with credit card, we're supposed to call them by their name. Her name is Kelly.
No.
True story. And
Is it? Are they both spelled the same?
no, it's her first name is Kelley, and then her last name is Kelly.
I would have guessed the other way around.
Yeah.
That was my first
Man.
name.
But Lori
she's
said, well, is she married? I said, so if you're married, you're going to take your husband's last name if his Kelly? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, her parents did not like her and did not want her, so they called her Kelly.
Oh, man.
I know. My wife doesn't love me because she didn't take my last name either. Anyways, what else you got, James?
Coolest news of the week, we got a Star Trek trailer. I should say Star Trek Into Darkness. Not even, oh, man.
That perked Brad right up. He's falling
Brad
asleep
is
when we were
really
talking about what we were
excited now.
watching, and now.
News now. Back in. That trailer. Well,
It's fucking amazing.
it's an announcement trailer, so we
It's
don't
a
even have the
teaser.
real trailer yet.
No,
Yeah,
the trailer
well,
is
next
it's
week.
pretty
I
amazing.
mean, it's a teaser. Yeah, we get a full trailer next week in front of The Hobbit.
Yeah.
In fact, there are even you can see the prologue to the movie in
Are we
front
going
of
to go see the
some-
prologue?
No.
You dicks.
I don't want to see the prologue to. I don't want to see the first few minutes of a movie that I'm going to see later, because it's just gonna.
I know, the
either
Dark
A,
Knight
give me
sold me
blue
when I
balls,
saw it.
or I know I'm going to see that movie. Like, I don't need to know more about it. I want when that movie starts, I want to know. I want to enjoy it the first time. Like, part of the reason that I never liked Despicable Me is because the first couple minutes of that movie are exactly like the trailer. So all of the beats were really predictable because I'd seen the trailer so many times that then I'm watching the movie and I'm just bored for the first couple minutes. I would rather go in knowing very little about the movie.
I can't imagine Star Trek 2 could be boring at all after
Having-
watching that teaser.
Having said that, let's speculate about the movie and try to figure out exactly what's going to happen in it. Because
So act like the internet? Okay.
yeah, no, exactly. There's so much badass shit in this trailer, and everything is falling down. And
It's
at some
beautiful, by the
point,
way.
oh yeah.
Only a couple lens flares.
that lens. Yeah, you're right. I hadn't even thought about the lens flares.
But I love J.J. Abrams. You can put lens flares in
for
every
sure.
fucking scene. I don't care.
And I think that he'll tone it down from the last one because it was a little bit over the top, but
I don't even notice them too much.
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't bother me.
I definitely still want them around because I think they're a cool little effect. The biggest thing is, well, the last shot where what looks like the Enterprise is crashing into San Francisco Bay is amazing and gives me chills, and I watched the trailer again just for that, just because that shot is like, oh fuck.
What's
just
cool
because it's
is
beautiful to not see. It's so cool to not see the Enterprise, just see its shadow. Like, it's such a great shot.
I think the trailer's so cool because remember, this movie's supposed to come out on Christmas. So I think that.
Oh, we have a year to wait?
No, I mean, it was supposed to come out this Christmas.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
And then
I
they
thought that was
pushed
the
it.
first one.
No, then they pushed it to May.
No, that was this one. Yeah.
And so I think that, they're pretty much
No,
probably
the first one, they were
pretty
like,
close to being done.
this movie's so badass, let's push it to summer.
I think they did that there too. But this one they
So
they
same
pushed
thing
it back.
twice?
Pretty much, I believe so. The other thing is, so of course everybody's talking about Benedict Cumberbatch and who is he? Is he Gary Mitchell? Is he Khan? He's fucking not Khan. But is he Khan?
Cumberbatch.
He's wearing ripped clothing like Khan. How can he not be Khan?
Damn it. He is super smart and yeah. Anyway,
did Kirk set up Khan? I mean, I'm not a big Star Trek fan as you. I've only seen Wrath of Khan once.
Yeah.
But doesn't Khan tell the story about how he was set up by him and he was left behind?
Yeah.
So maybe he is Khan because he's raising hell on Earth. Kirk picks him up on the Enterprise, flies away, and throws him off on a planet, and is like, "Fuck you, asshole!" And then he goes, "Kirk!"
So it's like the first story. It's not Wrath of Khan. It's like the earlier.
Space Seed.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever you guys are talking about.
I said the title of the actual 1960s show where Khan appears.
Do you want me to jerk you off now?
Please.
Because you're the
Finish
best
me off,
Star Trek fan.
Finish me off, James.
All right.
I barely like to say anything on the show, and here I am doing it.
No,
so
you're doing great.
Enjoy it.
I love it when you talk on the show. It's fantastic.
Okay, when you guys are done with your butt fucking, let's get back to the show.
Okay, so my theory
so-
is that he is Gary Mitchell and Khan combined in the universe due to the fact that the universe has been rebooted. They're not just taking story elements and combining them into a story. That he is going to be actually Khan and Gary Mitchell
Like
combined.
he's Gary Mitchell, but he's kind of got some of the backstory of Khan.
Not just the story, like he is both characters. That's my theory.
Because
I'm
his
going to
name
be bold
is still
about
just
it.
Gary Mitchell.
What?
Boldly go where no one's gone before.
He may even have a different name, but he is like those two
He's Khan Mitchell.
characters fused together because of some event.
The scary thing to me about it, the one thing where I'm like,
It's so funny. I keep on saying things, and they're so involved in the conversation that they don't pick up that I'm just making fun of them constantly.
Nah, that's fine. That makes the
I have
podcast
years
funny.
drowning out jocks picking on me in the background.
In the Japanese trailer at the very end, there is this sequence where we also hear Benedict Cumberbatch say something along the lines of, what wouldn't you do in order to save your family? And then there is a shot which is a pane of glass, and on the far side is clearly Spock's hand, and on our side is another human's hand touching it. Very end of Wrath of Khan. And the one thing that scares me is that they are going to so much pay homage to Wrath of Khan and maybe even kill Spock or things like that, that it's not even it's going to not stand on its own. It's going to end up feeling like a remake of Wrath of Khan, which I never wanted. Yes, Khan is a cool character, but there are other cool characters. Even if it is, I would rather it just be Gary Mitchell and they tell a story that's kind of like Wrath of Khan, than to really try and hit all of those beats.
See, I get from the trailer, it is nothing like Wrath of Khan. I mean, just the overall scope of it, and that it takes place on Earth.
You're right.
So to me, it's not Wrath of Khan. I mean, you can had winks to the franchise that came before, but I think that might play into Brad's parallel universe kind of thing, where, now it's rebooted, but now, because you also have Leonard Nimoy in the first one, and I don't know.
And that's what I would want. If there is that scene where they're touching on the glass, and we really get a powerful, well-written, an original scene that is about their friendship and how much those two men love each other. Mm-hmm. I think that would be great. But I don't want it to be too much Wrath of Khan. That's all I'm saying. Still fucking love that trailer, and I will watch it all day.
Yeah.
It's badass.
Until next Thursday.
Until next Thursday when we have a new trailer, which I will watch all day. A lot of Kevin Smith news this week.
Yay.
Two big things sort of came out, which the first one is that he has announced, but I don't know how official this is yet, that Hit Somebody is going to be a miniseries. It was going to be 2 films, and a couple weeks ago he said no, now it's just down to 1. And then apparently in a conversation that he was having with Jason Mewes, Mewes sort of said, like, why are you cutting shit down? Why don't you just make it a miniseries? And he said, okay.
I read that
didn't he tweet
Kevin Smith
it?
talked to Jerry Bruckheimer, and Bruckheimer said, like, dude, 1 hockey movie won't sell. Why are you going to make 2?
And I actually think him making it a miniseries is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
especially if it's like historical.
That's why he cut it down. But then this is why he's making it into a miniseries. He's announced that it's going to be a miniseries. Hasn't said what channel it's going to be on. Maybe because he doesn't have one yet. It could be that this is just him saying that, and then he's going to shop it around and see, with the buzz that's around it, whether or not HBO, hopefully, or actually, maybe AMC, hopefully, or maybe settle for HBO.
Kevin Smith writing, it's got to be HBO.
Oh, he said that for
My
sure?
wife says he's said it's been picked up.
Okay.
Episode
cool.
99, I think you just listened to.
Cool. Well, that's good. I mean, I figured it would happen quick. It's just that as of news on /film, that hadn't been announced yet. So then the second part of that is that since that's not going to be the last movie he's going to make, he does have something to say about being 40, and he's gonna try and get a Clerks 3 movie made, provided that Jeff Anderson is willing to come down off the mountain and be in the movie.
What does Jeff Anderson do now?
He lives on top of a mountain.
I remember he had troubles with Clerks too. Like he was the last one to sign.
Oh yeah. Well,
he's a recluse.
Yeah, no, he really is. He's on an episode of Smodcast at one point. But yeah, he like lives up in the mountains, and I don't know what he does for work, where he makes money. But that's the thing, is that he
that fat Clerks animated series cash.
Yeah, exactly. He had talked a while about making it into a play. He wanted to do a stage play. I can't imagine he would have ever gotten Jeff Anderson to come down and do a stage play. They would have had to have different actors, I imagine. But if it's different actors, I don't think it would even play the same. So hopefully that'll all happen, because I would totally see another Clerks movie.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the idea of a Clerks trilogy.
Yeah,
floating
for sure.
around.
Do you have any other Kevin Smith news? You see the other one?
No. What was the
Jay
other
and
one?
Silent Bob's groovy cartoon movie. He's going to tour it around like Red State. So
cool.
So there'll be a Clerks cartoon movie with Jay and Silent Bob, and
time to scrap together $60.
Yeah, to see it. So hopefully he comes to Denver again.
Somebody's going to get to talk to
Kevin.
Smith
If you're listening
again.
to our podcast, come to Denver. We would love to interview you.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if they'll.
And we know you like to talk, so
yeah.
And you're a big fan of podcasts.
Exactly.
A couple of little movies moving forward. Joss Whedon turned in his script for his outline for Avengers 2 this week, which is cool. There is also a writer signed on to do a Tron Legacy sequel, which I never thought was going to happen, but am totally stoked to know is actually going to happen. Because, of course, that movie didn't do very well, and people talk about it like it was a piece of shit, but it is awesome.
yeah.
Tron
I
Legacy.
want new writers, same production artists.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And the very last thing we'll talk about, there was some other stuff, but nobody cares. The last thing is that Disney signed an exclusive deal to stream on Netflix.
Big news.
We're going to get a couple of things early, like, there are going to be some of the classics. Alice in Wonderland, Pocahontas, and Dumbo are going to get on there real quick, but it won't be till 2016 that we start seeing all of their direct DVD movies going straight to Netflix, which is cool. I mean, it's going to mean a lot of content coming into Netflix.
And it's good for Netflix, because anytime you have Disney, parents are going to buy it.
No, it's huge for Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the best news. Netflix has been shaky ever since they lost Stars. This is huge, fantastic.
And what was the
news for
Q?
Netflix.
What was their name of their Q thing?
Oh, Quickster?
Quickster.
Yeah. Last year, Netflix had a bad year.
But that CEO's out.
This is going to be really good.
Come on, Song of the South on Netflix.
They'll never put it on DVD, but they might let you stream it. And I mean, all of the Marvel movies have been on there anyway, but now that they have, it's Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, all of that stuff, hopefully we'll get on there pretty quick, which is awesome. I mean, I'm going to own all those movies anyway, but it's easy if I'm going to bed and I want to watch Song of the South while I go to bed. Boom.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's news. Unless you guys got anything.
No. I think you got it all. Comic Book Corner. James, it's your week.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
It is my week, and I fought really hard against this because I didn't want to do another Buffy book. I really didn't. But dude, Willow is really good. Willow, if you've been reading Angel and Faith, they went into Kortoth, and Rebecca Isaacs was allowed to create Kortoth for the first time we've ever seen it, and it was badass. The flying monster thingies and this big planet-y mouth thing.
Where can we see Rebecca Isaacs in May?
I'm pretty sure she's going to be at Denver Comic-Con.
That's right. You can buy tickets now, denvercomiccon.com.
Even better, I'm pretty sure she's going to be on our podcast.
We'll see. Well, don't count your chickens before your eggs have hatched.
Ooh.
Whatever that saying goes.
Anyway,
Willow.
So Willow was in this other world, and she's trying to get magic back into the Earth. So she goes a different direction and pops over into this other universe. And this very first arc, which is a limited series, so hopefully they'll do more arcs than they're doing. But this first series is just about her in this alternate universe that is the universe that Wonderland was based on. Basically, is what they're saying, is that the writer of Alice in Wonderland, when he would drink lots of absinthe, he would get visions of this alternate demon universe, and that's what he wrote it about. And so it's really been,
which actually makes
really
sense, because if you've read Alice in Wonderland, it doesn't make any sense.
Fucking crazy.
So
yeah. So it's really been fun, and it's also it's cool just to focus on that character. If you're a big Buffy fan, as much she's totally lovable, but her character is in a weird predicament where she's completely sapped of power. And it's a neat little arc. Only the first issue was out. Well, the second one came out today, but I haven't picked it up yet.
you can totally pick it up at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Oh, you can't. And that's where I got my first issue. Of
if you
Willow.
put it in a hold slot, you'll save 20% off the cover price.
I didn't. Do
And
that.
guarantee a copy.
I feel
Just
like
talk to Andrew.
That place is awesome. Anyway, that's Comic Book Corner. Read some
Hell
Buffy.
yeah. This week, me and James had the pleasure of going to see Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2. Or is it Breaking Dawn Part 2, the Twilight Saga?
It's Billy Birking.
Cougar
Dawn Part
Wrastlin.
It is. I am out of here. Peace.
No, you. Oh my God,
James.
I want to tell you about the shit what happens in this movie, man.
James, should people go see Twilight?
Fuck no.
Roll the trailer. I don't even have to answer because this movie is shit.
I've had a bad habit of underestimating you. Every obstacle you faced, I think you couldn't overcome it. And you just did.
I didn't expect you to seem so... you?
My time as a human was over. But I never felt more alive. I thought we would be safe forever. But forever isn't as long as I'd hoped.
I have to report a crime. The Cullens, they've done something terrible.
Volturi thinks Renesmee's an immortal child.
She was born, not bitten. She grows every single day.
Oh my.
Creating an immortal child has long been outlawed, and is met with the severest form of punishment. Death.
What is it, Alice?
Volturi, they're coming for us.
If enough people knew the truth, maybe we could convince the Volturi to listen.
Our search began looking for vampires in the most remote corners of the world.
My family's in danger. I need your help.
Each with their own gift.
You are an amazing woman. We'll join you. Pax will fight. We've never been afraid of vampires.
I'll never let anybody hurt you.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We have to talk after getting our brains blown out by
Kristen
that trailer.
Stewart is the most. Sorry, whoa. Bella Swan is the most unlovable person ever.
Okay,
she doesn't deserve to be loved.
Remember how I said that I'll say one good thing about this movie besides Billy Burke?
Okay,
When Kristen Stewart smiles, I think she's kind of cute.
I've said that before.
And in this movie, she actually smiles, and she's kind of having fun.
You're right.
So you know what? You're like, oh, this is a Bella Swan that I can get behind.
She's slightly attractive.
But
now,
then
yeah.
but then she treats Billy Burke like he's a piece of shit.
Oh my God.
So right away, I don't like her.
No, she really does. Like, she's the worst daughter ever. You know, how much time does she spend away from her dad? And then, like, she gets him. It's still.
Oh wait. Okay, so let's start at the beginning.
Okay,
the first.
Let's tell this story.
5 minutes of this movie is close-ups of her eyes. Like,
yeah, she's looking at stuff. Ooh, I can see that close up because I'm super fast now.
And there's a really horrible scene, which I haven't seen, I think, since the first one, where they run really fast.
Yes,
and
there's a lot of running very fast in this
they're
movie.
running really fast, and it's in that horrible, like, green screen CGI where the people don't look.
It's ugly.
It's horrible. And movies that make $1 billion each.
Yeah.
Come on. And so she's running in place. You can basically tell that she's running in place with horribly computer-generated Washington State woods in the background.
Yeah.
And so, when you're a newborn, I guess you're really strong, is what I guess.
Well, I think it's also because at the end of the last movie, didn't Edward, he let her feed off of him and stuff, and so she...
Sure.
He should be...
Sure, I'll go with that with you because I don't remember.
Yeah.
But so she's really strong. So, she needs to feed because she has the hunger. The hunger, Brad.
Yeah, like a vampire,
Yeah. So she's about to get this deer because she can hear everything now. When she's running through the forest, she hears a squirrel eating a nut.
This is the most active forest. There are owls. There are owls during the daytime, just like sitting, hanging out.
And there's literally a scene for like 30 seconds of a squirrel eating a nut.
Yeah, it's true.
30
it goes
seconds.
on for a long time.
Sounds adorable.
Yeah. It was really cute. You're right.
And it's totally right away. The movie's totally padded because
yeah.
they couldn't stretch this into 2 movies. So there's lots of slow motion, lots of just shots of random stuff. So she's about to get this deer. But there's a rock climber miles away who cuts his arm on a rock.
And then almost falls to his death.
Bella crawls up this rock face. She's about to get him. But then all of a sudden her husband,
Edward,
shows up to stop her.
And then he's just like, yeah, hey, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay.
And she jumps away.
Yeah. By the way, they do not save the rock climber. He
probably
died.
fell to his death.
Yeah.
If they'd saved him, he wouldn't have had to cut his own arm off.
Yeah.
Is that the same movie?
No. This would be somewhat entertaining.
Oh, God. But then she goes back to the deer, and this is the reason I saw this movie. She goes back to the deer, and this time the deer has another. There's another hunter.
Predator.
Yeah,
there's 2 predators.
It's a cougar. It's going to eat the deer.
Sweet, the predators in this movie.
Yeah,
I can't believe I missed this.
So the predator jumps at the deer, and she collides with it midair. She wrestles with it, rolls around on the ground, and bites its neck. You're still thinking about the predator, aren't you? I can see it in your eyes.
Imagining the predator
You're still,
fighting
yeah,
Bella Swan.
It's a cougar.
But my favorite part is it cuts away to scenery, and you hear like the cougar was just extinguished of life.
Yeah, and then she bites its neck and drinks it.
And again, the problem with these movies is they are fucking horribly done.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's so many parts.
They're visually appalling.
Describe horribly done. Visually appalling.
There's also parts where. So let's say I'm mad at you, Brad. Okay, for the sake of the argument, I'm pissed at you. Then James will say, wow, Ryan's really mad at Brad right now because he didn't tell the Volturi about... They literally explain exactly what's happening, even though you already know what's happening. So
it's like they pause and then turn to the audience like, here's what we're talking about right now, folks.
It's totally that. Because it's like... Because
you didn't pick up on it.
It even goes so far as to... There's a sequence where she starts narrating and she's telling us about like this child whose name I won't say because it's so fucking stupid. This child of mine, it's growing really fast, and all we have left is time. And, it's that kind of dialogue, that kind of narration. And all of a sudden it cuts down to she is there with the wolf boy as a wolf and her daughter, and they're catching snowflakes. And she's still talking the narration. It flows into that. Okay, so you're telling me that she was standing there telling Jake about how she loves her daughter, but her daughter grows so fast, and all they have is time. And what the fuck? How does a writer even write that and not go, this doesn't make any fucking sense?
You glazed over the part where she died, came back as a vampire. She was dead for 2 days.
Yeah.
So her baby didn't have a mother for 2 days. She wakes up, needs to feed, doesn't come back to hold her baby, fucks Edward, then shows up the next day at the house. They said, here's your baby, which, by the way, has a horribly CGI'd face of the little actress who plays her later on in the movie.
Well, and I think it's not just that. I think it's also that they try to CG it to look like Bella because you want it. They keep making comments about like, the baby looks just like you. It's the creepiest fucking thing I've ever seen.
And it reaches up to touch her face, and looks like Play-Doh.
Oh yeah,
and it's horrible. Anyways, so my favorite part of the movie is
really the creepiest.
Is
baby.
Billy Burke, because Billy Burke has conversations with characters in the movie that are completely meta. Like he's telling you exactly how intelligent moviegoers feel. Like he'll say stuff. I don't know, when the little girl shows up and she's already grown to like an 8-year-old. He says, "Wow, you're like literally 6 inches taller. I mean, seriously, 6 inches taller since I saw you 2 days ago."
It's true.
He's literally saying that.
Yeah, he delivers dialogue, and the thing is, his dialogue is not better. It's not. His dialogue is just as stupid as the stuff Kristen Stewart is saying, but he delivers it. He reads the line as if he were actually a person. So there's a scene where he finally meets back up with Bella, and he's like, I can't lose you again. And you have this. He does it so well that you really kind of feel like, okay, this is actually a father who, if we step back, we realize, okay, she's having this whole adventure away from her dad, who she's still not that old. And she almost died, and all of this stuff. Like, she's totally distancing herself from her dad, and you really kind of feel for him for a second. Like, he pulls that line off, and then she looks at him and goes, "You'll never have to again." And it's the stupidest line in the world.
And we also passed over the part where what made him show up to see Bella, because she was going to tell him that she was
great.
He was going to have the family tell Bella that he was dead. She was dead, so he wouldn't have to worry about it, because I guess it's vampire law. If you tell a human that you're a vampire, they kill that human. Whatever.
They make up these rules.
Yeah. So Jacob shows up. Billy Burke is doing what he's usually doing, chopping wood in the forest.
Because he's the most badass man on the planet. Just out in the woods chopping.
He shows some axe practicing.
He shows up and he says, "Jacob, what are you doing here?" And he says, "Bella's okay." That's how my Jacob or Taylor Lautner sounds.
Yeah.
And so Billy Burke is basically saying, "Okay," and he has
because he talks as if
he talks and look on his face as, this is the stupidest thing I've ever fucking said in a movie.
He behaves as though his character does not have time for all of these other characters' bullshit.
Exactly.
Like, he's really above everyone else in the movie.
So the Jacob character literally starts stripping because he's going to turn into a
He's
wolf.
like, I have to tell you something, and just takes off his clothes.
Starts taking off his clothes, and Billy Burke is basically giving the look of like, this is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever done.
What's wrong with you, kid?
What's wrong with you? This is stupid. And so
it's good. And then he turns into a wolf, and then Billy Burke is like, whoa. Why? What the
Runs
fuck?
to get his shotgun?
No, that would be great.
Damn it.
No, he's taking the axe right to Jacob's neck and be like, fuck this monster.
A wolf just ate Jacob.
If the rest of the movie were Billy Burke killing vampires and werewolves with an axe, it would be better than
Billy
Abraham
Burke,
Lincoln.
werewolf hunter.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So now we've established that all this stuff. So now next they decide that because the Voltoria found out that they have made an immortal child, which they kill people for. There's a scene where there's a vampire boy, and they rip their mother's head off, and then they hold the little boy up, and he looks at the camera, and he's really cute, and they throw him in the fucking fire.
Yeah. They throw like a 8-year-old kid in a fire.
Like a Cabbage Patch Kid doll. They're like, there you go. Throw him in a fire. He's dead.
Is this installment rated R?
No, it gets worse.
Oh, man.
It gets worse. So anyway, now they're recruiting vampires to be witnesses to tell the Volturi that she's not immortal, that she's just growing really fast.
So there's 20 minutes at least of this movie where they're driving around meeting characters we've never in a Volvo, real clean Volvo, meeting characters that, as far as I know, we've never met before, and just having the baby goes up. Well, it's a little girl now. Just touches them on the face, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she's warm. I guess she's not the devil." Okay, and they do that for a long time. Just drive into some place, meet some people.
The Intercontinental Volvo. I remember that from New Moon.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
But here's the fucked up part too: is this movie has Amazonian women?
Oh my god!
That I guess are so cut off from the rest of the world that it's like racist.
They're still dressing in like leather garbs and all. They look like
even the Native Americans
movie.
Basically have headdresses on.
Yeah. No,
they're
not American Indians.
We're not smart enough to know that if you say Native American by looking at them that they're Native American, you have to have the full costume.
But that's the thing. They're not Native American. They are from Brazil. And I realize the reason why this is because the movie this series has some of the best American Indian actors alive today in it. Because
they're the wolves.
Yeah, all of Taylor Lautner's like parents and stuff are all these great American Indian actors. So that's why they're Brazilian.
Yeah, but still, it's insulting.
The writers of this movie think that Brazil is like the most backwoods, retarded country on the planet.
Honestly, the whole time I'm seeing it, did you ever play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for Nintendo or Punch-Out? It's basically stereotypes of people from different countries. That's what all these vampires were.
It's that racist. It's really bad. And their costumes look like they came out of
the Russian guy. Comrades, literally some dude who can do a Russian accent as well as I can, which is horrible, being Russian.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they have this huge showdown with the Volturi, the evil / good vampire Italian guys that aren't Italian. They're all English, led by Michael
whose
Sheen.
motivation is completely unfathomable.
Yeah. Anyways, they show up on this battlefield. And the one vampire that can see into the future... Well, first, the leader of the Volturi can... Everybody has a stupid power. Like, every vampire has an X-Men power.
One of them is the Avatar. He can just control all the elements.
Yep.
Awesome.
So, anyways, Michael Sheen's character can absorb other people's powers, I guess, or he can...
Well, no, he can just read. He can just read people's like thoughts,
whatever.
Yeah. He's kind of like Alice, but in the past.
Yeah. So Alice can see in the future. So she's like, "Touch my hand, and you can see the future." And so he touches his hand, and they attack, and they start. I'm not even joking, Brad. They rip off maybe 15 to 20 heads.
Yeah.
Literally rip them off.
Yeah. Like pop them off, like a Barbie head, exactly. Yeah. Like it really
no
is
blood,
ridiculous.
But like decapitations. Yeah.
But even if there is no blood, you still like see the meat and the bone inside. Like it's
so
pretty gory.
Oh, it's okay because they're not humans; they're vampires.
I'm like, oh sweet, this is kind of cool. Heads are popping off.
It was kind of cool.
And there's a part where one of them gets his hand stuck in a mouth, and he lifts up the top part of the head, and you see like the cheek start to rip apart and rip in half. Of course, horribly CGI.
Oh yeah,
it looks not that good.
It gets totally.
I'm just imagining MacGruber's throat rips.
Exactly.
Right now.
Yeah, that's what it is. And so it's like this badass battle scene.
It's not great.
No,
you call it badass. There's a lot of action and violence, but it's not good.
I guess I should say just because the heads are being ripped off is what makes it badass. So Bella and Edward finally confront Michael Sheen's Aro character. And they wrestle him down, and Edward's holding him down. Bella jumps on top of his shoulders, rips his head off, throws his head on the ground, lights him on fire. And then it cuts to him still holding that Alice's girl's hand, and that's what could have happened.
We went through 20 minutes of action sequence, and then they did the most offensive thing you can do to an audience, which is go, we've wasted your time. Yeah. Sorry.
And they just walk away at the end.
Yeah.
That's the end of the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no. There are like Lord of the Rings style way too many
but
endings
not
after that.
Good.
And all of them are garbage. But that is the end of the conflict, absolutely.
And
so are those guys just like, we need to kill them, and then he listens to her hand and he goes,
and he's like, okay, well, I guess I can't
changed
win.
my mind.
If you boil down the conflict of this film, it is we have a child, they want to kill it. We're going to go meet all of our cousins and stuff, introduce them to the child, because also we have a kid and we want them to know. And then we're going to meet the bad guy in the middle of an ice field, say, hey, this kid's got blood, and then we're all going to go home. And that's the plot of this film.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that we have skipped over is, so early on in the film, she gets back with her baby, right? And Jacob is there. And Jacob is like... Hey, here's the thing. I knew this about this book, but totally forgot. So when it started happening, it took me by surprise, and I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to have the most fun 2 hours now, because I was scared I was not. And Jacob is like, hey, I have to tell you this, Bella. I can't control, my wolf boy urges. And I've been hanging out with your baby. This whole time.
He imprinted the baby because he wants to marry and fuck it.
He is in love with the baby. And the whole time, at first she's like,
fuck it when it's done
fuck
growing,
you,
right?
Get away from my baby. What are you doing? And then she's like, hang out at the house. And if I need somebody to protect the baby, it's totally you. And when I decide that I'm not going to...
the baby Nessie.
Yeah, he nicknames the baby Nessie.
There's an actual line in the movie where he says, me and Nessie have been hanging out. She's like, Nessie, you named my baby after Loch Ness Monster?
True. What's bad about it is not that, like that joke would be funny if she had a regular name, but the name she has is so stupid.
What's the name?
I don't want to...
It's Renesmee or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Renesmee. Yeah,
Renesmee,
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so stupid that every time somebody says it, if I was in the movie at all, it pulls me out of the movie the little bit I am.
And the last thing I will say about the most annoying, inappropriate, horrific thing in this whole movie is at the very end. So, Jacob's imprinted this child, so he's going to marry her or whatever.
And by the end of the movie, she's like 8.
She's, 8.
7 or 8.
7 or 8. He leans over to Edward while they're watching her and Bella play, and he says, so can I start calling you Dad? What?
Because he's going to start fucking the kid.
Yeah, the kid is 8.
This is
But 8...
the worst thing in the movie.
Okay, she's 8, but she's actually only like 4 weeks old.
Right. So no matter how you look at it, it's appalling.
Wow.
Absolutely appalling.
So,
There's a
Cora,
rise in pedophilia.
please write into Real Nerds and defend this movie, please, or book.
Oh, my God.
If there's a sudden spike in pedophilia cases across the country, we might know why.
I think
Taylor Lautner.
part of the hardest thing about this is that there are so many scenes, especially early on, where they're just sort of filling time that mean absolutely nothing for the plot. There is this long sequence where they're playing the piano. There's a long sequence where her dad's going to come over, and they're like, oh, apparently vampires have a hard time pretending they're not a vampire, so we're going to try to teach you how to, A, sit down and pretend like you're breathing.
No, it's because she's controlling the urge not to bite him. She's still new.
Oh.
That's what it was. She
No,
might
they totally,
eat her father.
They totally were talking about, like, no, you need to slow down when you move around the room. That was
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
part of the conversation, was that, like, because when she went to go sit in the chair, like, she super vampire ran to the chair,
Well, no.
pushed the chair back and hit the wall.
Remember, her superpower is defense because she's able to control herself.
Yeah.
So
She
she's
has
able
a lot of
to
will.
save people from Dakota Fanning's vampire that says,
That's
pain, and people get hurt.
So early on, she wrestles with a cougar. She can kill a cougar. But then when it comes to the actual battle sequence, all she does is stare at people awkwardly to give them safety.
Yep. So please write into the Real Nerds podcast, realnerds@gmail.com, and defend this horrible series of movies that I'll never have to watch again.
It was better than the last one. I will say that.
I don't even remember the last one.
At least this one never, like, visually attacked me. Because I don't know if you remember the end of the last one when that shit is happening or whatever,
Mhm.
and, like, it gives you seizures.
Oh, yeah,
remember?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there was
yeah.
that sequence that gives people seizures. Ooh, man. There isn't anything that'll give you a seizure in this movie.
But
maybe an aneurysm, but not a seizure.
But you can find us, realnerdspodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can email us, realnerds@gmail.com. Tweet us at real_nerds. Call us 720-6nerds5. I did that the best I've ever done it. And
You
it was
totally did.
Straight through.
We're just going to cut that out and put it at the
Oh,
end of
shoot, the recording stopped.
Fuck!
No, you asshole.
Next
We
week-
didn't even review that movie. We just told you what happened in it.
Yeah.
You
You need to stop saying movies, Brad.
You should just start playing when the DVD comes out. You guys can just play this and like listen as it goes.
Exactly. And we do jump around, so you'd have to re-edit it to make it fit.
Meh.
Oh,
So,
man.
anyways, next week we're seeing Creature 2, which comes out in theaters. So look forward to that review. No, actually, next week we're actually seeing The Hobbit.
Yeah.
So that should be fun.
I hope that movie's half good.
Yeah, it should be.
Never heard of it. But, all right.
Oh, man.
Anyways, till next week. Bye.
Bye.
Twilight sucks dick.